This video goes over the concepts found in Grammar 2B. The concepts are nouns, story titles, verb tenses, and commas in a series. First, we'll go over nouns. There are three main nouns. There's person, place, and thing. So we're going to look at a few sentences to determine what the nouns are. First, we have Zeke went to the library. So first we want to look for if there are any people or a person in this sentence. We see that Zeke is a person, so we're going to circle Zeke, and I've labeled him as a person. Then we will continue and see if there are any things in this sentence. Zeke went to the library. There are no things. Now let's look for any places. Zeke went to the library. Yes, library is a place, so we'll circle that because it is also a noun. Next we have the fork is on the table. Once again, we want to run through the list. Are there any people? No, the fork is on the table. Are there any things? Yes, fork is a thing as well as the table is a thing. So we have two nouns, same as the sentence before, and both are things. Our last sentence is Brenda bought a hat at the mall. Here we want to run through the list. Is there a person? Yes, Brenda is a person. We also have a thing, a hat, and we have a place, the mall. So you want to make sure you look for each type of noun, person, place, and thing. Next, we are going to look at story titles. Here we have the story title, Mowgli's Brothers. Here we want to capitalize and punctuate correctly. So first we're going to look at capitalization. We have the M and the B for Mowgli and Brothers capitalized. And then we want to use quotes to punctuate a story title correctly. For book titles, we underline. For story titles, we use quotes. Make sure you understand the difference between the two. And the directions and the booklets, they should always be mentioned as to whether it is a story or a book that you are punctuating. Now let's look at a story title in a sentence. Here we have the sentence, my sister loves Jack and the Beanstalk. So once again, we want to capitalize. In this sentence, in this title, we are capitalizing the J in Jack and the B in Beanstalk. And then we want to punctuate correctly, and that will be with quotes. Notice that and the are not capitalized. Similar to book titles, we do not capitalize unimportant words in story titles. Make sure you watch out for that. Next, we have verb tenses. There are three main verb tenses, present, past, and future. So let's look at each one individually. Here we have Seda walks to school. Our verb is walks, and it is present tense. Then we have Seda walked to school. Once again, our verb is walk, but in this sentence, it is in past tense. It is walked. And then our last sentence is Seda will walk to school. And this is a little bit different from the other two because the verb phrase is will walk. And this is future tense. Notice that for this first sentence, Seda walks to school, it is occurring right now. It is in the process of occurring. And then for the second sentence, Seda walked to school, it is past tense. It's no longer occurring. She has walked to school. She's completed that. And then the last sentence is will walk to school. Seda will walk to school. And that means that Seda is going to, in the future, walk to school. She is not doing it now, nor is it completed yet. And notice that for each of these tenses, we have a different addition to the verb. So for walks, the present tense, we had an S at the end. For the past tense, we had an ED because it is a regular verb. And then for future tense, we add will as a helping verb, and you will always use will in future tense. It will always be a part of the verb phrase. As for the present tense, it can get a little tricky because there are different ways of writing the verb depending on the subject, if it's singular or plural. So we'll look at that right now. Here we have Seda walks to school. Our subject is Seda, and our verb is walks. Our next sentence is Mom and Dad walk to the gym. Notice that our verb is now plural because Mom and Dad are the subject, and then our verb is walk. You'll see that between the two, there is walks and walk. With a singular subject, you use an S at the end of the action verb. If it's a plural subject, you do not use an S. Our last concept is commas in a series. Here's a sentence: my favorite flowers are lily, buttercup, primrose, and sunflower. You want to use commas to differentiate between the different things that you're listing. In this sentence, they're flowers. And you always want to remember to put a comma before the conjunction when you're listing things in a series, just to help to clarify any confusion that may arise from other types of sentences that may be listing names or something similar to that. If you have any questions or any concerns about the concepts in this book, be sure to ask the person who grades your grammar at the center.